I never thought I'd bury my husband and then have to exhume his corpse just to prove he was still screwing me over from the grave. The day after the funeral, his mother waltzed into our Malibu beach house with a posse of lawyers, flashing a forged power of attorney that stripped me of everything: our home, his tech empire's $50 million payout, even the goddamn wedding ring on my finger. But the real gut punch? The will they discovered 6 months later, which named me the villain who'd poisoned him for the inheritance, turning our fairy tale marriage into a national tabloid circus. My name's Mila Voss, and if you think revenge is a dish best served cold, try swallowing it while the whole world's calling you a Black Widow. It started in the summer of 24, that sweltering California heat wave that made the Pacific look like a mirage. Ethan and I had it all: the cliffside estate with infinity pools bleeding into the ocean, his AI startup exploding into unicorn status after we bootstrapped it from our garage in Palo Alto. He was the visionary, coding late nights with that boyish grin, promising we'd change the world. I was the rock handling the investors, the press, the endless schmoozing at Silicon Valley galas where everyone wore hoodies worth more than most people's rent. We met at Stanford. Him the prodigy dropout, me the psych major who saw through his charm to the genius underneath. Our wedding was a spectacle: Napa Valley Vineyard, drone footage for the gram, Elon Musk tweeting congrats. But beneath the filters, Ethan had shadows. Late-night whispers on calls he swore were investor drama. I'd catch him staring at old photos of his family, those East Coast wasps who disowned him when he came out as bi in college. "They're ghosts, babe," he'd say, pulling me close. "You're my forever." Then, the aneurysm. One Tuesday in July, he collapsed during a demo for his neural network app, Irony. Right? The one that promised to unlock human potential. Paramedics hauled him out on a stretcher, tubes snaking from his mouth, and I rode in the ambulance, holding his hand like it could anchor him back. Cedars-Sinai was a blur. Beeps. Fluorescent hell. Doctors murmuring about inoperable. He lingered 3 days, squeezing my fingers once before flatlining. I signed the DNR because he'd made me promise no machines, no limbo. His last words, slurred through morphine: "Love you, Mills." Fix it all. The funeral was a circus. Tech bros and teas, reporters lurking like vultures. His family flew in from Boston: Mother Voss, the iron-fisted widow of a Lehman Brothers exec, Brother Harlan, the hedge fund shark with a jaw like a vice, and Sister Lydia, the socialite who'd married into old oil money. They hadn't spoken to Ethan in 15 years, but grief's a hell of a unifier. Or so I thought. Condolences flowed like cheap Chardonnay. Mother Voss, Eleanor, but she insisted on Mrs. Voss, clutched my arm at the gravesite, her pearls digging in. "We'll take care of you, dear. Family first." Harlan nodded, eyes scanning the crowd like he was pricing souls. Lydia air-kissed my cheeks, cooing about healing retreats in the Hamptons. I nodded, numb, the Pacific wind whipping my veil. That night, alone in our bed that still smelled of his cologne, I cracked open his laptop. Password: Mila loves Ethan. The files were a mess: code, emails, a half-written letter to his folks apologizing for the mess I made. The next morning, they struck. I was in the kitchen, nursing black coffee, when the doorbell buzzed like a chainsaw. Harlan led the charge, flanked by 2 suits from some white shoe firm in Century City. "Mila," he said, voice like gravel, "we need to talk probate." Probate? Ethan's will was ironclad. I'd seen it. holographic, notarized in our den, leaving everything to me, the house, the company shares vesting at $50 mil, even his vintage Mustang. What the hell? I stammered. But they were already unfurling documents. Power of attorney, dated 2 weeks before he died. Signed by Ethan, granting Harlan full discretion over assets in event of incapacity. Forged? My gut screamed yes. But the notary's stamp gleamed authentic. You're distraught, Eleanor soothed, perching on my sectional like she owned it. Ethan confided in us. He worried about impulses, the drinking, the rages.
Lies.
Ethan was teetotal, a meditation junkie. But Harlan had photos photoshopped, me at a bar, slurring, Ethan with bruises I never gave him. Protective order, one lawyer droned. Filed last month. For your safety. My world tilted. They escorted me out like a squatter. Boxes of my clothes dumped on the driveway. The house, our house, with a sunroom where we danced to Springsteen, barricaded by security. Lydia slipped me a check, $10,000. Starter fund.
Sweetie.
Therapy helps. I crashed at a Fleabag motel off the 101. Scrolling TMZ headlines. Tech heir's widow evicted amid abuse claims. Shares tanked. Investors bailed. I called our lawyer, on vacation. Then conflicted. Harlan's firm represented half of Silicon Valley. By week 2, I was broke. Couch surfing with a college friend in Echo Park. Job hunting as former
Voss AI.
But the betrayal cut deeper. Ethan's secret gnawed at me. That night in the hospital, I'd confessed, whispered it while he lay comatose, thinking he couldn't hear. The mistake I'd buried for him. 5 years ago, during a funding crunch, he'd cooked the books. Falsified user data to snag a $20 mil round. I found the spreadsheets. Confronted him. Fix it or I walk, I'd said. He begged. $1/4 mils. Then we go public clean. I covered, rerouted the lies through shell accounts I'd set up. Felony territory. If audited. For him, I'd take the fall.
Now.
His family dangled it like a noose. An anonymous leak to the SEC. Voss AI fraud. Widow complicit. My name splashed everywhere. I lawyered up with a pro bono shark from the ACLU. But evidence mounted. Emails I'd sent. Timestamps I couldn't disprove. Harlan's flip. He'd been Ethan's silent partner, siphoning funds through offshore shells. But he pinned it on me, the gold digger wife. Months blurred into a haze of depositions and death threats. Eleanor's memoir dropped, ghost-written screed titled Shadows of Silicon, me as the scheming outsider who'd stolen her boy. Bestseller. Lydia's podcast, Betrayed by Blood, episodes dissecting my narcissism. I lost the house in arbitration. Harlan's judge buddy ruled undue influence. The $50 mil? Liquidated into a family trust for Ethan's legacy. Rock bottom hit in a rainforest cafe, ironic. Right? Where I waitressed incognito. A customer recognized me. Hey, aren't you the killer wife? I fled to the alley, puking up my shift meal. That's when the plan crystallized. Not rage, cold calculus. Ethan's will, the real one, was on an encrypted drive I'd stashed in our safe deposit box. They thought they had it all, but I'd digitized backups. Revenge wasn't burning bridges, it was rebuilding them under their feet. I started small, anonymous tips to journalists, planting seeds about Harlan's Cayman accounts.
A pie.
Funded by plasma donations. dug into Eleanor's charity, laundering for Harlan's Ponzi schemes. Lydia? Her empowerment retreats were pill mills, opioids funneled to influencers. The family wasn't grieving, they were grifting. But the hook, I needed the will. The real one. With the codicil Ethan added post-diagnosis. To Mila, my heart, forgive me the debts I left. Expose the wolves. And the shocker, naming the executor of a shadow trust, $100 million he'd hidden in crypto, earmarked for reparations to fraud victims. If invoked, it'd bankrupt the Voss empire. They'd buried the original under their forgery.
So,
I exhumed him. Not literally yet. Court petition for document review, citing anomalies in the probate filing. Judge, a woman. Thank God, granted it. Exhumation hearing. Me versus the dynasty. Arguing Ethan's signature was coerced in his final haze. The gallery buzzed. Harlan sneered from the defense table. Desecration for dollars. Eleanor dabbed tears crocodile. I knew. My lawyer. The deceased's intent is paramount. Granted. 2 weeks later, under sodium lights in a Ventura morgue, they cracked the vault. I wasn't there, couldn't stomach it, but the report came, elevated barbiturates, inconsistent with aneurysm. Murder?
no.
Euthanasia. Ethan's doing. Or mine. That DNR night. I'd upped the drip. End it. Mills, he'd mouthed. Mercy kill. Felony in California. The secret I'd borne alone. The exhumation report hit like a rogue wave, sucking the air from the courtroom. Tox screen positive for Seconal, the coroner testified. Voice flat as asphalt. Barbiturates, sleeping pills. Crushed into his fore. Ethan's family erupted. Eleanor swooned into Lydia's arms. Harlan pounding the rail like a gavel. Murder. She euthanized him for the money. My lawyer countered. Compassionate release. Per his wishes. And signed addendum to the DNR. The press feasted. CNN looped the morgue footage grainy. Me absent but implicated. Black Widow Mila trended. Death threats flooded my burner. I holed up in a North Hollywood walk-up. Blinds drawn. Living off ramen and rage. But here's the controversy. Was it murder? Or love's last brutal gift? Ethan had begged. Eyes pleading through the pain. Don't let me rot. I'd held the syringe. Whispering apologies as his pulse faded. For better or worse. In sickness and in death, I'd honored it. Harlan's countermove was surgical. Emergency injunction. Freeze all assets. Including the Shadow Trust. His PI unearthed my prison tat. Oops. A drunken Stanford dare. But twisted into gang ties. Lydia's Instagram live. My sister-in-law? A monster in Lululemon. Eleanor's op-ed in the journal. When mercy becomes manslaughter. Public opinion split. Half bang for my cuffs. Half demand support. Women like you get railroaded. I flipped the script. Leaked the real will to a podcaster, ex-Wired editor with a grudge against big tech. Episode drops. Ethan Voss's final fuck you. The codicil spilled. Not just the crypto pot, but directives. To Harlan, repay the $15 mill you skimmed from seed rounds. To Eleanor, dissolve the family foundation, masking your insider trades. To Lydia, cease the pill-pushing wellness scam. And to me, Mila, my confessor, unleash the truth. The fraud was mine. You shielded me. Forgive. Pandemonium. Voss stock, rebranded Voss Legacy post-death, plummeted 40%. SEC raided Harlan's Tribeca penthouse. Fed subpoenaed Eleanor's vineyard estate. Lydia's retreats shuttered overnight. Influencers suing for bad vibes, but the family clawed back. Harlan's flip, sudden reconciliation presser. We've suffered enough. Mila's accusations? Defamatory lies from a grieving widow. He offered a settlement. $5 mil. NDA. My silence. For Ethan's memory, I met him at a neutral spot, Sunset Strip Diner. Vinyl booths sticky with grease. Harlan slid in, Rolex glinting, smelling of Aramis and entitlement. Look,
Mila.
Ethan's gone. We can end this. His eyes, Ethan's eyes, but colder, flickered with calculation. The will's a fake. You doctored it after. Bullshit, I hissed, sliding my phone across. Forensic analysis from a Berkeley prof. Timestamp irrefutable. He paled, then smirked.
Fine.
But that euthanasia? First degree. I know DAs. One call. Blackmail. The bastard had flipped again. Ally to enemy. Brother to betrayer. I leaned in. Voice steel. You poisoned him first. Those investor calls? Your dealers? Pushing benzos to keep him compliant while you drain the accounts. Proof? Ethan's deleted texts. Recovered by my hacker buddy from Burning Man. Harlan's Cayman wire. $200,000 to a pharmacy. He laughed. Low and ugly. Prove it. Ethan's dead. You're the one with blood on your hands. We stared. Two sharks circling. I pocketed the phone. War it is. Back home, my shoebox. Not the mansion I plotted. The antagonist wasn't one, it was the Hydra. Eleanor's moxie, she lobbied her Wellesley alums for a justice fund, smearing me as anti-family. Lydia's guile, deep fakes of me confessing to podcasters. Viral in hours. Harlan's cunning, buying off witnesses. From the notary to the nurse who'd seen me at the drip. My decisions got controversial. First, go public with the mercy kill. Op-ed in the Times, I kill my husband, and I do it again. Raw. Unfiltered. The agony. The love. The law's cruelty. Backlash exploded. Pro-life zealots picketing my block. But feminists rallied. Euthanasia rights now. Petitions hit 1 million signatures. Twist, it humanized me, but cracked my alibi. DA's office opened a probe. Second, infiltrate. I dyed my hair platinum. Posed as a grieving investor at Voss Legacy's shareholder meet in San Jose. Slipped a USB into Harlan's laptop during the cocktail hour. Worm code to exfiltrate emails. Caught? Almost. Lydia clocked the dye job. But I played ditzy fan. Harvest. 500 gigs of dirt. Offshore ledgers tying the family to Russian oligarchs laundering through Ethan's AI for deepfake ops. Controversial? Hell yes, implicating innocence. Maybe. But Ethan died for their greed. Climax brewed in federal court. Downtown LA. The will hearing, me petitioning to probate the real document. Them countering with fraud claims. Gallery packed. Activists. Techies. Rubberneckers. Judge Rivera. No-nonsense Latina from Compton. Bang the gavel. MS. Voss. Your motions border on vexatious. But the public's right to truth. Proceed. Testimony tore open wounds. Eleanor's sob story. Ethan was my baby. She stole him. Cross. My lawyer drops the foundation audit. $8 million in donations to Harlan Shells. She crumbled, invoking the fifth. Harlan's turn. Slick. Deflecting. Family disputes. Your honor. Not criminal. Then the emails. Him to a fixer. Neutralize the wife. Quietly. Jury gasped. My stand. Raw. First person hell. I loved him. Covered his mistakes, because that's marriage. The fraud? His desperation. The kill? His mercy. Tears?
Real.
But the flip, I admitted the cover-up. I rerouted the lies. Guilty? Maybe. But they profited. Readers, viewers split. Am I avenger or accomplice? Heroine or harpy? Lydia's bomb. Mid-trial. She testifies via video. Tear-streaked. Claiming abuse from me too. She threatened us all. Deep fake?
My tech testified yes.
But doubt lingered. The courtroom tensed. Air thick as fog off the bay. Rivera adjourned. Warning, this isn't theater. It's justice, or it's mockery. Nights blurred into strategy sessions with my ragtag team, the hacker, the prof, a ex-cop turned PI. We uncovered the Hydra's heart, Eleanor's will, the forgery, inked by a senile notary Harlan bribed. But the real twist loomed, buried in Ethan's code. His AI, the neural net, self-aware-ish, logging everything. A backdoor chat. Ethan to the bot. Pre-death. If I go, expose them. Mila's key. I activated it during recess. Remote ping from court Wi-Fi. Voss servers lit up, dumping terabytes to WikiLeaks mirrors. Global headlines. Voss dynasty's dark web. Stocks cratered to pennies. Protests outside. Justice for Mila versus lock her up. Harlan cornered me in the hall. Face ashen. You bitch. Call it off. His hand on my arm. Bruise-worthy grip. I twisted free. Your move. Brother-in-law. He flipped. Plea deal whispers to prosecutors. Trading my euthanasia for his fraud rap. Betrayal circle. But the tension peaked that eve. Anonymous call to my cell. Eleanor's voice. Whiskey slurred. Come to the house. End this. Trap or olive branch. I drove the 405, heart hammering, past billboards mocking my face. Malibu gates swung open unlocked. The cliffside loomed. Waves crashing like accusations. Inside. Shadows danced. Eleanor in the sunroom.
Decanter in hand.
Sit.
Dear.
No Harlan. No Lydia. Just us widows. The will. It's real.
Confession or ploy?
She poured scotch, Ethan's brand. He told me everything. The fraud. Your cover.
Sit.
I pushed Harlan to take it all. Protect the name.
Why?
I choked. Legacy. Her eyes. Steel blue. You were never family. Outsider. Rage boiled. I stood, knocking the glass. He chose me. Her laugh, bitter. Did he? The aneurysm? Stress from your fights.
Lie.
But doubt wormed.
Then.
The shot, silencer pop from the kitchen. Lydia. Gun trembling. For Ethan. Eleanor's slump. Blood blooming on silk. Not gore, dark stain. Like spilled wine. I froze. Lydia's flip, she confessed. You saw. Framing me. Again. Lydia's hand shook. The Beretta, Eleanor's. From her nightstand, smoking faintly in the lamplight. Waves thundered outside, mocking the silence. Eleanor's body slumped against the wicker chaise. eyes wide in that final surprise. A rivulet of crimson tracing her pearls. No spray. No splatter, just a quiet bloom, seeping into the rugweed picked out in Milan. "What the fuck?" I whispered, backing up, hands raised like a shield. "For the family," Lydia hissed, voice cracking, mascara rivers down her cheeks. She was going to flip on us all. The will, it's poison. Her flip was total, sister saint to executioner, grief to fury. But her eyes darted to the door, to me, calculating escape. "You saw her attack me." Self-defense. Lies layered on lies. I lunged, not for the gun, but her phone on the side table. Live streaming? The app glowed. Red record light. Smile. LYD. World's watching. Her face crumpled. Sirens wailed distant. Neighbors panic button? Or her setup. Cops swarmed 10 minutes later. LAPD. Tasers drawn. Flooding the foyer with blue strobes. I knelt. Hands zip-tied. Reciting Miranda like a prayer. Lydia played the victim flawless. Sobs. Pointing at Eleanor's corpse.
She
threatened Mila. Then turned on me. Gasps from uniforms. My truth? Drowned in the tide. Holding cell that night. Concrete bench. Fluorescent buzz. A drunk singing off-key blues. DA's angle crystallized by dawn. Double homicide, Eleanor. And Ethan's mercy reframed as premeditated. Widow's rampage. From fraud to fury. Bail denied. Headlines screamed my guilt. Harlan vanished to a non-extradition island. His jet log scrubbed. The Hydra headless. But venom lingered. From county jail, twin bunks, communal showers that reeked of despair, I orchestrated. Smuggled phone via a guard's cousin pro bono favors. Activated the AI dumps phase 2, Ethan's neural net. Now viral on dark web torrents. Decoding family comms. Chats exposed. Lydia's opioid empire. Sourcing from Harlan's Russian ties. Eleanor's insider tips to cronies. Crashing markets for profit. Public schism deepened. Free Mila rallies in Pershing Square. Countered by Justice for Voss pickets with Eleanor's saintly portrait. My lawyer. Now, a pit bull from the Innocence Project. Filed motions. Video forensics proving Lydia's solo shot. But controversy raged. Was I complicit? I'd driven there knowing the risk. Baited the trap. Critics snarled. Supporters. She exposed evil. Debates lit up cable. Fox calling me Jezebel. MSNBC martyr. Decisions got uglier. I greenlit the full leak. Not just finances, but the personal. Ethan's sex to a male intern, his by truth. Suppressed by family shame. Harlan's homophobic rants. Recorded boardroom. Lydia's affairs. Swapped spouses like handbags. Tabloid Armageddon. Voss secrets. Incest. Lies. And loaded guns. Morally gray? Absolutely. I weaponized privacy for payback. But they started the war. Court reconvened 2 weeks in. Preliminary hearing. Rivera presiding again. Her robes like judge's armor. Gallery electric. Activists chanting. Harlan's proxies glaring. Lydia testified first. Quivering. Bandaged arm. Self-inflicted. Mila manipulated us. Said Eleanor confessed to killing Ethan.
gasps.
My cross. The stream footage. Timestamped. Audio crystal. Eleanor's pour. Her legacy rant. No attack. Lydia's bluff cracked. She invoked counsel. Then me. Orange jumpsuit no match for my spine. I went in the cycle. Eleanor admitted forging the will.
Pushing the frame.
Lydia pulled the trigger to silence her and me. Evidence parade. Ballistics matching the family safe. Lydia's search history for untraceable silencers. Jury leaned. But the twist, talks on Eleanor, traces of the same barbiturates from Ethan's autopsy. Suicide assist? Or Lydia dosing Mom for the inheritance? Pandemonium. Rivera sealed the courtroom. Sidebar whispers flew.
Outside.
Riots brewed, feminist waves clashing with TradCon zealots. My inner jury split. Avenger or accelerant. I'd borne Ethan's sins. Now exhuming the families to bury mine. Right?
Wrong?
The line blurred like LA smog. Harlan resurfaced, extradited from BVI. Cuffs glinting under Klieg lights. His flip finale states witness against Lydia. Trading fraud for immunity on my case. Presser tears. Betrayed by blood.
Mila.
She's collateral. Sellout. But his testimony gutted. Ethan knew the skim. Mila covered to protect the dream. Validation? Or deeper cut, admitting I enabled. Climax crested in deliberation. 12 strangers. Mirroring America, tech bro. Nurse. Vet. Ex-con, locked in with my fate. Leaks trickled. Hung jury vibes. Euthanasia debates raging. Mercy or murder? Polls split 51 to 49. I paced my cell. Ethan's ghost whispering code. The AI's final log, his pre-death sim. Predicting this chaos. If they win, burn it down. Mills. Verdict eve, shiv in the yard, anonymous. Shank to my ribs. Not fatal, but message. Lydia's girls? Or Harlan's grudge? I bled out on gravel. Medevaced to ER. Stitches under cop watch. Woke to Rivera's mistrial declaration, juror tampering. Anonymous cash drops. Retrial pending. Freed on technicals, house arrest in a halfway house. I plotted the endgame. The Shadow Trust unlocked partial, $20 mill dispersed to fraud victims. My cut nil, but for legal fees. Voss legacy dissolved, assets auctioned. Lydia indicted for manslaughter, Harlan. Racketeering. Eleanor? Autopsy ruled homicide-suicide hybrid. Her prints on the gun's grip, final flip. Staging her exit? But the real highwire. My DA showdown. Immunity deal on Ethan's death for testimony against the Hydra. Controversial as hell. Admitting felony for freedom. Press crucified. Killer walks free. I signed. Voice steady. For truth. Retrial buzzed national. Opening. Prosecutor paints me devil. Calculating. From cover-up to corpse. Defense. Survivor. Cornered by clan. Witnesses flipped like cards. The nurse recanting under oath. Harlan's bribes exposed. Lydia's cell confessions. Smuggled. Mila didn't pull it. Mom begged cancer. Hidden. I helped. Twist uncoiling. Eleanor terminal, pancreatic. Undiagnosed. Her legacy plea? Suicide pact gone wrong. Lydia's shot mercy gone mad. Echo of my sin. Debate ignited. Chain of compassion. Or cascade of crime. Jury out 3 days. I waited in a hotel suite, courtesy of the trust, staring at the Pacific. Ethan's urn on the mantel. Waves mocked. Relentless. Unforgiving. The knock came at 2 a.m., not cops. But my lawyer. Face like thunder. iPad glowing. Not guilty. All counts. The room spun. I collapsed into the armchair. Sobs racking like aftershocks. Headlines would scream. Voss' widow cleared, but at what cost? The acquittal wasn't absolution. Eleanor's death? Lydia's trial loomed, her defense mirroring mine mercy. Harlan plea bargained to 10 years, emerging a reformed consultant, whispering to Fox, Mila won the battle, not the war. Public fractured deeper. My op-eds, now syndicated, sparked Senate bills. Euthanasia reform, with Mila clauses for spousal mercy. Protests evolved, Camelot vigils for Ethan, mixed with Voss victims' marches demanding my restitution. I picked no side, but the mirror lied, Avenger's eyes. Haunted. Revenge's aftertaste?
Ash.
The house auctioned to a crypto bro, $50 mill trust shards scattered to claimants. I kept the Mustang, drove PCH at dawn, wind whipping ghosts. Ethan's AI, I open-sourced it neural net for good, detecting deepfakes, exposing lies. Ironic legacy. But the final twist, the one that keeps therapists billing and forums flaming, dropped 6 months post-verdict. A letter, postmarked Boston. In Eleanor's script, Dearest Mila, forgive the charade. The will forgery? Harlan's madness. But I signed off. Ethan confessed the fraud to me years ago. Your cover saved us all. The barbiturates? My gift to him. Pre-aneurysm. To ease his fears. Your mercy? Echo of mine. We both killed for love. The family crumbles. Rebuild without us. Yours in sin. Eleanor. Postscript, a key. To her vineyard safe documents, not cash. Ethan's original birth cert. Amended, not Voss blood. Adopted. Hidden to mask scandal. Harlan. Lydia. Half-sibs. But me, the outsider who became the heir. Debate eternal. Was Eleanor ally or architect? Her suicide a final frame. Absolving Lydia? Or true repentance? Passing the torch? I burned the letter on the beach. Ashes to surf. But the safe's haul, $10 mill in bonds. Earmarked for Mila's justice. I donated half to euthanasia nonprofits, kept half for a quiet life. Therapy ranch in Montana. Writing my truth.
Ending?
No tidy bow. Happy, if freedom counts. After chains of secrets. Tragic? Ethan's grave cold. Family's shard sharp. I drive the Mustang now. Radio blasting Dylan. The times they are a-changin'. Vengeance served, not cold, but tempered, like steel in American fire. Was I right to exhume? Expose? Endure? You decide. In this republic of opinions, that's the real shock. No one's clean. But truth's the blade that cuts deepest. And damn if it doesn't leave you bleeding, wondering if the scars were worth the light.